Warning: the following content may contain elements that are not suitable for all audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Was there a particular? I know you knew that school wasn't for you, but what particularly drew you to the Marine Corps other than the job? Was it like you just wanted that, like you thought it'd be cool to do that specific, aviation type job, or?
I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. I just went because I was like, all right, I want to do something different. I want to challenge myself, and I knew that, like, to be a Marine, you have to be like in pretty good shape, and that's what I worked for. And so I thought to myself, like, I want to do something that will make sure that I stay active. Because I couldn't see myself doing like a desk job or something like that.
Right.
Even now, like, it's too boring.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. You still run, which has been, I think, a pretty big part of your fitness. From what I can remember, you were always talking about running, and I stole some of your running shoes even. Like, you remember the green ones? Yeah, you let me borrow. You're like, just give them back whenever you're done. And I was like, all right, bet. And then I'm still not done with them, bro.
I forgot about that.
I saw them in my trunk the other day when I was cleaning the trunk. I was like, oh, these are. I should probably. I don't know if he wants these.
Don't worry about it. No, yeah, yeah. I think I got into running probably like 2017, 2018. I was like, I think I was like on some sad boy stuff at that time, bro. Honestly,
Oh, yeah?
I think I was just going through a breakup, and I was like, I was drinking and stuff like that, and I was like, nah, I need to, because it doesn't really do anything for you,
Right.
Just, if anything, it makes it worse. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, I need to find a more positive outlet.
Yeah.
And so I started running, and it kind of becomes like therapeutic.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you ever heard anybody say that, but you run and you kind of just if you've got something going on, or at least that's the way I feel. If I've got something going on, something bothering me, I can go run, and I will get lost in my thoughts, and I'll even forget I'm running. And you just run for miles, and then it's like, just became second nature. So, like, I stuck with it. I took a year off, kind of got fat, and then I'm like, all right, like, I need to get back on it.
I solved a lot of my problems while I was running, because, like you said, for me it was also therapeutic. And when I stopped running was when I started kind of getting depressed and gaining weight, and I started having knee problems, because when you get big quick, your body recognizes that the load is a lot heavier now, and I started getting my knee started to swell, but yeah, running it's therapeutic because, like, it's just you. Like, there's no distraction of, like, other people talking to you. There's no, like, work. You have to get work done.
Right.
All you're doing, like, at that moment in time, the only thing that matters is just what's in front of you. So there's nothing to really. There's no. Have you seen those? We talked a little bit about this when I went over to your place the other day. Like, those tanks where you're sitting in the water and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's kind of like that for running. It's where you kind of drift off into your own world, where you go on autopilot. And for me, it was like, I just think about things I want to get done and why I'm doing them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It's like a whole evaluation of why you exist. That's how it was for me.
I think when you're running, you just have so much, like, clarity.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know exactly where that comes from. I know that after you run, your body releases this chemical, right? I think is it serotonin or
it's oh god,
it's some sort of endorphin,
and it's dopamine.
Right. And it's some, like, sense of accomplishment. You're like, even though, like, throughout the run you're, like, miserable, sometimes, like today I ran, and it's like, I don't know, might have been 90 degrees or something. Yep. And it was miserable. I had to stop a couple times. I'm like, dang, I was not hydrated. For sure.
Oh, and you can, as you get better at running, that's one of the things you notice, you pick up on, like, yeah, I wasn't hydrated enough for this run. Like,
For sure.
More cramping. You just start to feel slow, like sluggish. That's how I would describe it. When I'm not hydrated, I feel like I have to dig a lot harder to get myself moving.
So like the way that my marathon prep is built around my schedule, I have to do my long runs on Monday because that's the only day I have off. Right. So I have to get my long runs done today, like every Monday.
Yeah.
But I still work on Sunday nights.
Right.
Or all day Sunday. So yesterday I went to work, and the way that I know that I'm going to be hydrated is I take a gallon of water with me every day.
Yep.
And I have to finish that gallon before I leave. And so then yesterday when I left, like I hadn't even opened the gallon. Like it was still sealed. And I'm like, that sucks. Like, because I have, I'm supposed to run 12 and a half miles today. And I'm like, so then when I went today, I stepped outside and I started stretching. I'm like, dang, it's hot. I'm like, I already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And probably like 7 miles in, I was miserable. And I like sat down on a rock in the shade. I'm like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I took two, like, I have a vest.
Yeah.
Like
the weighted vest?
No, not a weighted vest, just like a running vest. I don't know. It carries two pouches of water bottles, whatever.
Okay.
But they're like 6 ounces each or something. It's nothing major.
Right.
So I take cold water with me, but like 7 miles in, that's like an hour later, and it's 90 degrees outside. So this water is like boiling hot.
Right.
I'm like, oh, this sucks. I can't drink this.
Yeah.
And so like it was miserable.
Yeah.
I was like, dang. 7 miles in, I'm like, well, what am I doing? So I was like, all right, I just finished up, but it was not.
How do you take care of yourself long term? Because you've been running for as long as I've known you, like long distance runner. I've always been a shorter distance. Like when I tried to run longer distances was when I started feeling like more pains, like more knee pains, more. So I was like, I'll keep them shorter. And when I kept them shorter, I was able to recover from pains. So what is it that you do? What's your practice to keep yourself healthy when you do long distance running?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things like you as a runner, right? Or I think it's human nature. You always say like, all right, I want to build on the last run, right? So I want to run better. I want to run faster, right? But that's not exactly the most efficient way to get things done, So you have to, or at least what I do, right, is your baseline, right? So you have to know, all right, my best 5K is at this pace. My best 10K is at this pace or whatever. And so on easy days, right, you want to run at a certain pace or pace that's not going to kill you. You should be able to hold a conversation, And so they call that zone 2 training. So I bought a heart rate monitor, and I don't run above 155 beats per minute. It's pretty slow. It's almost like when I first started, I was walking almost, And so, and that keeps me grounded, because otherwise, without it, you think like, I can go faster, and then you just plateau at some point, So there's that, you're making your easy runs easy, and then I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos and make sure that I'm running efficiently, because a lot of times you're running and you don't even realize that you're a heel striker. And if you come down on your heel, it's like essentially every time that your heel strikes, you are stopping your momentum and starting up again. And it's not efficient, and it's horrible for your knees, and that's how you get shin splints as well. So.
And how do you control your, are you actively thinking about your running form? Is that something that you've had to adjust? Is that something that just comes to you naturally?
Some people, I've seen videos of people saying that you should have somebody record you so that you know where your deficiencies are or whatever. I run on big streets, so like I'm always looking in the mirror. Like I'll look in the windows and stuff. Sometimes people are looking back at me. I'm like, that's kind of awkward.
You make eye contact with people.
It's like, that's kind of awkward.
Just some dude as you're going by, just making direct eye contact. Right.
Yeah. So I mean, that's one of the things I do. But like, but then again, you're running. If I'm looking this way, over at my own reflection, like I don't see the front angle. I don't know that I'm doing it correctly. But I just know that I used to have knee issues, right? for a while when like on the workup for the deployment.
Yeah.
You know, and it's because I was running in Lejeune. It's pretty hilly. You know? So, you know, I was running some inclines and stuff like that, and I was heel striking, and it just compounded, and I thought I had they call it IT band syndrome, right? And so I was having like a lot of knee issues, and I had to get a knee brace and stuff like that. And I considered like taking time off, and then I just didn't. But that's when I started to look more into it, and then ever since then, I kind of corrected my form, and I haven't had issues since then.